raining for days. My world is a flood. Slowly I become one with the mud.
Hi everybody, this is Zach Walker.
And this is Matt Vaughn.
This is me totally driving right here, doing a fine job.
I'm pretty bored, so I'm sitting up front with the camera, and this is what's going on behind us.
We just ignored most of it, tuned it out.
And so did Jeff. Turn your head, I need to see the other side. None of us knew what to expect. Especially Christy.
Promise is always a source of amusement on the bus.
We're all having fun. No idea what to expect, and we've been on this bridge for an hour because this bridge goes over the swamp before it gets to New Orleans. And we're just tired, and we want to get there, and finally we see land.
I remember being on that bridge so long that it felt weird to be back on, like to be surrounded by land again.
Here we go, down below sea level. Bam. First time we've been on land in like an hour. Wow.
So the freeways around New Orleans most of them are elevated, and so this is one of the views around it, and you can see all the tarps on the roofs, and
I think it's a little hard to see when you're driving by here, but like there's just nobody's around in some of these parts, and these houses by and large are just abandoned and damaged, particularly on the inside because of the floodwater. This image always gets to me.
Yeah, check out that boat.
And you see all these blown out windows, and again, you see how much water pressure was probably sitting up against those windows. It just totally blew a lot of them out.
Some of those are pretty nice cars.
None of them are nice cars anymore.
No. Nice, Lindy. But then on all these houses, there's a marking on the front, and it's done in spray paint.
It makes it look like nobody's lived there for years, and you're like, oh, that's got a for sale sign in the yard.
Yeah, good luck with that. There's the boats.
This is amazing, the quiet in these neighborhoods. And, I never realized either that you don't see the piles of trash sitting out in front of many of these houses. It means they totally have not been checked in terms of cleaned or gutted or anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Overgrown yards.
Yeah, that's about 10.5 months after the hurricane. And it just happened to be walking down the street. Listen to the silence here. There's nobody around. And I see this house with the door wide open. And so I walk up and I see this. The furniture's just thrown by the storm, and you see the water line on the wall, and none of that was caused by people. That was all caused by water. And then all the houses had this X on the door, which means that the house was checked.
Here we are at our house.
That's my house. I just noticed that they have a little sign up there for a security system. I think we definitely live under a false sense of security all our time. Nature comes along and has a total disregard for any of these things that we construct to protect ourselves.
Mike and Alex, tell me what you guys have been doing in here today.
All right there.
These guys are really excited.
Yeah. What have we been doing all day? Right here, this hornet is what we've been doing all day.
This right here is called the Sheriff. Where'd it go? It's my best friend.
I will say you definitely worked with the tools enough that it was worth naming.
Oh, he's in there.
He's coming out. He's pretty pissed off.
He's having a rough time, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, you can't get out.
He'll get out in a second.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lauren over here.
Hard at work.
Hello, Miss Lauren.
Doing the most tedious job of all of the individual jobs.
What are you working on?
Taking all the nails out.
I swear there were like 50 nails, at least 50 nails in every single stud.
And you can't put new walls up until all the nails are gone.
Well, and if I remember right, we say it's a company will come and do that for you, but charges you like $1,000 or $2,000 to take all the nails out. Which is nuts. You will not be the only insect to die in our house today.
Here comes the sheriff.
This isn't the sheriff. This is some hammer, I think.
Oh, there it is.
I think that was the deputy, actually. If I remember right, that was the deputy.
There you go.
Okay, watch Jenna. That's
Nice job. Nicely done.
Okay, so we go to my house. This is the house where my crew was working. And we're a little farther along because I think this is the day after that. And just look at Moose has taken this rubble out. Just look at the size of the piles of trash that we pulled out of this house, of rotted walls and plaster.
It's amazing. That's all part of the house. You know, that's not like stuff that's throwing out. That was all, walls and just part of the house that's totally ruined.
It's a lot worse today than it was yesterday.
Aaron's pretty sweaty. It was pretty hot.
I remember my jeans being completely soaked through as though I had gone for a swim.
Yeah.
Not that you would go for a swim.
No, but you felt like you had.
But you felt like you had to.
This is the Mississippi River. We're on our way out of New Orleans. We're heading over to Mississippi, to Biloxi. And they suffered more. Well, you can see this building. There was a 30-foot wave that took out the first 2 floors of that building. There's the ocean right there. Just everything in its path was destroyed.
You know, some of these views just remind me, it's almost like seeing hurricane or tornado damage and how almost selective the damage is. That some buildings are utterly torn down and other buildings seem to suffer very little damage at all.
And then you see this bridge, which you'd think a bridge would be pretty solid, especially made of concrete. But the 30-foot swells just took it out like dominoes. And this road Thomas is sitting on.
You think about just how much is involved, not only in just building a new road, but in cleaning up what's there. How do you get these huge chunks of road out of the water?
Yeah.
You know, how do you clean that up to even begin to rebuild it?
Here's my favorite clip coming up. The whole movie.
One of my favorite clips of all time.
Sam Bennett. Oh, Sam.
It was really hot. A swim would have been refreshing.
He falls back in.
Well, there's so much algae growing on it. It's so slick. And that concrete, again, has been sitting in the water for 11 months.
It was an amazing trip. Something I'll never forget.
I think particularly just some of the images that you see, that you're not used to seeing that destruction anywhere, let alone in the United States.
Yeah, you're all laughing.
It was a hot day.
It was a hot day.